Hey guys, check out this little RC car I just got. This thing is 1/100 scale. It's a little caricature of a Datsun from the 70s, the little Z car, and it's got an FPV camera on the top. That means you're gonna be able to take this little car and drive it around from a first-person view. I think this car could be a lot of fun for driving around inside the house in the winter. And if you get bored of driving this, you could always strap it onto a full-size truck. Let's take a look at what you get with this car. First, we get this little remote. This thing runs on a single 18650 battery and is capable of charging the car. Also get a pair of FPV goggles. These are the goggles you're actually going to be looking into that will give you a view from this camera when you're driving it. If you've never done FPV before, this is a really interesting way to drive. It gives you a completely different view of the world when you're driving an RC car. This thing also has the ability to record. We're going to do a little bit of that later on. And you could use these FPV goggles for driving other FPV vehicles, FPV quads, or other cars down the road as well. We get all the cables that go with those goggles as well as antennas. Get some cables for the car itself, nice little keychain. Get some stickers, some instructions on how to link up the goggles, instructions for the car. Now this car is going to come in a few different flavors. You can get just the car, you can get the car and the remote, or you can get the full package like we have here, which is the car, the remote, FPV goggles, and everything that you need to get started. Now let's take a closer look at this car. This thing's fully featured. It's fully proportional, throttle and steering. It's really nicely modeled. This is nice, thick plastic. Looks like it's gonna be pretty durable. Doesn't feel like a cheap toy, which is good because this isn't a cheap toy. Now turning on the transmitter, we can turn this on as well. You can see this thing's got lights in the front, low and high beam, different colors of underglow, and it's got brake lights, as well as turn signals left and right. So it's got the full light complement. That's pretty cool. All that is controlled by the remote up here at the top. All right, guys, I'm gonna get the batteries on this thing charged and then we're going to have some fun. Before we do that, make sure you get subscribed. We got a lot of really awesome stuff coming up. We're always coming out with the latest news and reviews, awesome bashing shorts, and a lot more. So make sure you get subscribed so you don't miss that.
Turn it up now.
All right, I got a few packs of this thing now, and I can tell you this is a lot of fun. I did find one problem with it, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But overall, this is a really enjoyable little car. I mean, when was the last time you first-person view drove under your X-Max? I've never done it before, and it was a really good time to set up a little course, have a little bit of fun. Had some family members over, they've tried it too. They've really enjoyed it. These goggles are just fine. They're not high-end goggles, of course. You're not gonna get the same kind of view you would get from like a DJI setup or something like that, but you're also not spending DJI money for this car. Overall, I'd say it's perfectly adequate. Recording works just fine. I had no issues with it whatsoever. Back to the car. Car works great. It's very top heavy, which of course with this big camera on top, you'd expect it to be, but that doesn't really impact the fun that much. It obviously doesn't handle that well. It doesn't have a ton of power, but that's not what it's about. This is about driving around from a really unique perspective. And I think for that job, SNT Diatone has done a really good job with this. There's just one problem that I found, and the problem that I found comes with the remote. It's not the remote itself, the remote's fine. It comes with this 18650 battery that comes with the remote. There's no included way to charge this battery. Now, it's not a huge deal. Most of us are gonna have battery chargers, and all you have to do is just get an 18650 holder, put a connector on the end of it, and you're charging this battery, or just buy an 18650 charger. That being said, given how all-inclusive the rest of this kit was, I'm a little surprised that they didn't include some way to charge this 18650 battery. If you look in the manual, they show either an 18650 battery or a 3 AAA holder. My kit did not come with a 3 AAA holder, just the 18650, so you're gonna have to find a way to charge that battery. All in all, as far as problems go, I don't think that's a big one. And overall, this remote was actually very comfortable. I was actually surprised at how ergonomic it was, given the unusual shape of it. So should you pick up one of these little SNT Q25s? I think so. This thing's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed showing it to you guys. Definitely think about picking up one of these SNT Q25s if this kind of thing interests you. It is definitely a unique RC experience. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.